Hello, friends. So in the last video, you saw how a game of chess can progress. So chess is played by two players. There is white, there is black. And the last game showed us how a normal game of chess can progress between two players. And throughout the whole series, we have seen how the different pieces move, and then we saw how a game of chess is played. As you might have noticed that a game ends when one of the kings gets checkmated, right? So with that in mind, I would like to show a few more games, miniatures, quote unquote, uh, short games of chess where one side is able to checkmate the other side by using a simple trick or by using a more devious trick. Obviously, these games are for uh, people who have just been introduced to chess. So for someone who has been playing chess for some time, is a club player, these videos might possess entertainment value, but not much of an academic value. Even so, I think players or people who are just starting to learn more about chess, this video will not be just entertaining, but also academic. There is a few lessons or few tricks that you guys can learn from these videos, right? So having said that, let me share chessboard, right? So let's take a look at it here. So as you can see, when a chess game starts, the board is arranged in this fashion. You also noticed that in the last video, and two of the most popular moves of all times are either white playing his pawn to e4 or white playing his pawn to d4. Right. So these two are the most popular moves. And this game that I'm about to show you, it starts with e4. So I think personally, I believe that anyone who is starting out chess should try to study or try to look at games that start with white playing his pawn to e4. Okay, so e4, black plays the same thing, tries to imitate him with e5 at f3. And white is attacking the pawn on e5, and so he plays knight c6, right? There is another way that black can protect the pawn on e5. Right? So I'm attacking the pawn on e5, and this knight is protecting the pawn on e5 with this knight. But there is another way. Instead of the knight, he can play pawn to d6. So let's take a look at this option. So black plays pawn to d6. Let me just write it. And white plays his pawn to d4. So the idea behind g4 is that so chess is essentially a battle between two sides, right? And we talked a little bit about the center, and the central is like the strategic part of the chessboard. So center are these four squares. So in a battle, try to imagine that if two armies are battling each other, and the terrain comprises of mountains and valleys, then the side which is on the mountains has the advantage, and the side which is on the valleys has the disadvantage. Think about it. The army which is on the mountains can easily fire the army which is in the valley, so their bullets are going downwards, whereas the army which is in the valley cannot fire back with the same ferocity. So if we compare the center of the chessboard to a mountain and the edge of the chessboard to a valley, then you can start to appreciate that the side that controls the center has the advantage in the battle. I don't say that the battle is over, but the side has the advantage to win the battle. So for that reason, if you see the games of grandmasters or players, like or chess masters, you'll see that most of their play is centered around, and like it's based around these four squares. And that's the reason for these two moves, right? So white tries to establish a presence in the center. Since black plays this, the second move, he tries to defend the center. So white is playing d4 and attacking the pawn on e5. In this fashion, like he's trying to attack d into e5 as well as knight into e5. Black plays bishop to g4. The idea is that if I take d into e5, d into e5, knight into e5, then black is pinning this queen on d1. So you can take the queen on d, right? So that is black's idea here. So what does white do? White plays bishop to c4. Now black defends his pawn on e5. White plays knight to c3. And like, so as I said before, like both sides are trying to base their play on the center. Black is protecting the center with his knight, with his pawn, and is attacking a piece. Like black is attacking a piece which is attacking the center, right? So indirectly, black is trying to defend the center. And now time for a small trick. What I'm about to show you is like what happens if a player is not playing in the center. So let's say he plays f6, and like this pawn move is on the edge of the board. It's not doing much. It's on the center. It's on the side of the board, right? White takes knight into e5, and black gets very happy here because black says, "Oh, now white is giving up his queen," and so black does not pay attention to white's more dangerous threats and takes the queen greedily. And usually, like I would be happy if I'm getting my opponent's queen, and so I can understand black's happiness and his desire to quickly take white's move, white's queen on d1. But he runs into a bigger problem. Now, pay attention to the next two moves on how white continues. So with the help of his knight on e5, okay, white delivers a check to the black king, right? So the bishop is giving a check to the black king. The knight on e5 is protecting the bishop on f7. So that's why the king on e8 cannot take the bishop on f7. Where can the king go? Cannot go to d8. The queen is occupying it. Cannot go to d7. His knight is occupying it. Cannot go to f8. Again, his own piece occupies it, right? So the king can only go to a square which is empty, right? A rule, like one of the rules of chess is that a side cannot take its own pieces, right? So the black king cannot take its own piece. That's the rule. So king has to go to e7, and now we see a very funny little checkmate. White plays knight d5, gives a check. And this is a checkmate because the black king has nowhere else to go. And he's also under check. So he cannot go to e6 because the bishop controls that square, right? So cannot go to e6. Bishop controls it, cannot go to f6 because the knight controls it, right? Cannot take the bishop on f7 because the knight on e5 controls it. And he cannot go to e8 because the bishop controls it. So this is a funny little checkmate, a miniature, as I said before, but I think it also has an entertainment as well as an academic value. It's just a small trick, and I plan to show many different tricks like this in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.